Hello and welcome to another video review. This is Age of Empires 3, the WarChiefs expansion for PC and Mac. This is the first expansion pack to Age of Empires 3. It was developed by Ensemble Studios and then published in 2006 and 2007 for PC and Mac respectively. And it didn't really change a heck of a lot. What it did was add a bunch of new content. And in the visual and sound department, all of that is directly up to snuff with the original game. So I'm not really going to talk about that. The music itself that they added was pretty solid. It has that very nice Native American feel to it. New unit graphics and everything all look just excellent. So they didn't really change too much in the presentation, so I'm not going to talk much about that. But suffice to say, it is up to snuff with the original game. What I am going to talk about, however, are the story and the gameplay. Now, they did keep the original Age of Empires 3's story-driven campaign style, and you play across 15 missions featuring the black family of the original Age of Empires 3, but instead of going off on this ridiculous fantasy quest for the Fountain of Youth, you're actually just going through and playing historical-based event things. What I mean by that is basically you can fight through the Revolutionary War, you fight through Native American wars, specifically the Great Sioux War and Red Cloud's War, and such like that. And so it fits in with Age of Empires a heck of a lot better, and the storyline doesn't come across as completely retarded this time around. That said, the gameplay doesn't feel quite as fresh as Age of Empires 3's campaign did. It didn't feel quite as varied. There was a lot of kind of samey stuff going on. But that said, it's still a fairly solid campaign that is well worth playing. Then we come to the rest of the game. They did not significantly change the gameplay from Age of Empires 3, at least in the general style. What they did was add a bunch of new content, such as a few new things that are just minor, like they added different types of mines, like copper and tin. They give you less gold than the silver or gold mines do, but that's no big deal. They also added in the ability to have up to 25 cards in your deck instead of just 20. You do this by leveling up your home city to certain levels. And they also added in 3 new civilizations, which are the Aztecs, the Iroquois, and the Sioux. All 3 of which play very, very differently from the Europeans. And so that's kind of cool, actually, because it gives you this really fresh perspective on the game. And if you thought that all of the Europeans kind of got stale, then you can just go to the WarChiefs, the 3 Native American civilizations, and they play very differently, and so it gives you a lot more variety in that regard. They also added in new things for the European civilizations as well, like the saloon building, which allows you to recruit mercenaries, which these can be stuff like Ronin or Banditos or whatever, stuff like that, which is pretty handy. And they also added in the ability to have a monopoly victory, where if you control the majority of the trading posts on the map, then you can actually initiate a 5-minute countdown, and when that countdown hits 0, you actually win the game automatically. So that's pretty handy, actually. So it's actually kind of a cool little variation on the gameplay. They also added in some new units to the European civilizations, like petards and cavalry artillery and spies. And they also have different types of buildings and such to accommodate these. And then they have the ability to conduct a revolution, which is pretty interesting. Basically, all of the European colonies can now, when you go from the Industrial Age to the Imperial Age, instead of going to the Imperial Age, you can revolt. And what this does is turns all of your settlers into colonial militia, and it gives you access to 3 new types of units, so the Ironclad, the Gatling Gun, and the colonial militia. And basically you can only deliver all these things. It completely destroys your economy because you can't produce any more settlers, and you can't really do anything without those settlers. So you can still get resources and such from factories and all that, but it's kind of odd to do a revolution. I've never really found a major use for them. It's kind of a cool idea to have, but it didn't really work out as well as it should have. Because when you revolt, like I said, it completely destroys your economy, so you can't really turn into like a military powerhouse. It does give you a quick little boost in terms of giving you all those militia, which really aren't that great, but it's kind of a cool little feature to have. They also have the ability to use stealth, and that is the Native American civilizations all have units that will go into stealth, and you can't really see them or anything. But the Europeans have the ability to use spies, which will allow them to spot the stealthy units, and that's kind of cool. They added in 8 new maps, which, I mean, they still haven't done the random map generation that we know and love from Age of Empires 2, and that was kind of a letdown from the original game, and they just continued it here. So that's a little bit disappointing, but all in all, this is actually a pretty solid expansion pack. They didn't really break anything. They just added in new content, made sure it all balanced out pretty well, and then released it and said, hey, if you liked Age of Empires 3, this is more good Age of Empires 3 stuff. And so overall, this is a really solid expansion pack, but it doesn't do some of the things that we wanted it to do. Still, it's pretty good. I give it a 3.5 out of 5. Thanks for watching.